What's up, guys? Welcome back to Mind Creates Muscle. This is that second episode of the podcast. Super excited on how the first one went and the reactions to the first one. So um, let's get into the second one. I just wanted to start this off by saying thank you to those that watched and commented and interacted with the first the first episode. I think that there's a lot of positive feedback, and it's very encouraging to me, especially because putting yourself out there like that and making a piece of content, you never know how it's going to be received by the people that you know, or the people that you don't know. They're just viewing your stuff, but I wanted to say thank you to those that liked it and stuff and reached out to me, talking about their views and their thoughts on it. And all feedback is taken into account and to help me pursue this and move this thing forward. So I just want to say thank you to y'all and for supporting me and everything like that. So um, the title of this podcast, this episode, is Keeping Company. Um, I think that this is a great topic to talk about, especially for people that are my age. Um, People tend to get into some situations due to the company that they keep and the people that they hang around. And I think it's important to highlight the different aspects of relationships, a good relationship, a bad relationship, how those things can come to form and affect your ability to achieve the goals that you want, and how those relationships come together um, to form you as a person, because your environment directly shapes you as a person. So um, super excited to get into this one. I think that um, the information here is important, and I think that you can gain some knowledge and take some value from it to apply to your own life. So getting into it, um, first off, I want to talk about kind of what it means and what it looks like to have a negative relationship. This could be, excuse me, this can be, friendships, relationships with family members, your parents. This can be an intimate relationship, a romantic relationship, whatever it is. Um, this is kind of geared towards that. So, first off, I want to talk about the dangers of having a bad relationship. So, what do I mean by a bad relationship? Well, just as an example, a relationship that doesn't bring or add value to your life or takes energy away from you and your pursuit of your goals, right? Everyone has that one friend, everyone has that person that they know that is constantly degrading, right? Constantly telling you can't do something, or telling you that it's going to be difficult for you. Yes, things might be difficult, but I think it's important to have people around you that are more supportive than that, right? So the dangers of having a bad relationship. Well, I think it's dangerous to keep those people in your life because they hold you down, right? I've experienced this many times where, I have a friend or someone that I care about that doesn't necessarily have my best interest in mind, right? They're either looking to gain something for themselves from you, or they're just looking to use you, right? So I think that there's a multitude of ways in which um, people can be bad or hindering your progress and your growth and stuff like that through relationships. But there's some definite dangers. You see it all the time. Star athlete gets in trouble. I was just talking to a friend the other day, and a kid from his hometown who's a star college athlete. He was hanging around the wrong people, got involved with some things, and he was looking to go to the NFL, but now because of the people he was involved with, he's now serving time in prison. So I think that there's examples of that all over the place, and you can see them, and it mostly affects young people, um, just because they don't necessarily have the knowledge or know how to, get out of those situations, or how to even keep themselves from getting into those situations, right? So I think that diving into, the negative side of relationships and the company you keep is important to do. So um, I have this saying that I always go by, and I've been going by it since my freshman year at college. I was laying in bed one night. It was like 11:30. I'm just laying in bed, just thinking about, where I'm at, and, thinking about school, thinking about, all the friends that I just made. It was my first semester in college. And so I was just thinking about the different types of things that were happening in my life and going on in my life. And something spoke to me while I was laying in bed. I was just laying there up thinking, and something spoke to me, and immediately it just popped in my brain. And it said, "You become who you associate yourself with," right? The environment you place yourself in is who you will be in reality, right? This is basic human biology, right? Humans are made and programmed to adapt to their environment, right? So you may be one person when you're around your family, right? And you may be a different person when you're, competing in athletics, or you're a different person when you're working out in the gym, right? You're not the same person in each environment, right? Yes, you bring things from each one to each other, but overall, you're not completely the same person, right? So I think it's important to keep in mind the environment that you're placing yourself in, because it does come to form to shape you, the decisions you make, and everything like that. So you become who you associate yourself with. Um, I've had, experiences with this where, I've gotten into some situations that I didn't want to be in, and it was all because of the person I chose to hang out with that night, or the person that I chose to associate myself with for that period of time. And um, coming to recognize that it's extremely important to keep that in mind when pursuing a goal, or having any type of, or trying to attain any type of success, I think is important to think about and keep in mind. um, so when talking about negative relationships, um, there's things that you can do to try to keep yourself away from these relationships and keep yourself um, on the right track, right? And uh, what I call this is pruning and elevating, right? So you prune the bad out of your life, right? And that boosts you and elevates you and takes you to that next level, right? So here at Gustavus in our football program, our head coach, Coach Haugen, he always talks about the oak tree, right? There's two types of oak trees, and one oak tree, it's very big, it's very bright, very vibrant, but its roots aren't rooted in the right things, and it dies every year and then has to come back, right? Doesn't have a solid base. And then there's another oak tree that that blooms, and it's amazing, and it stays that way because it's rooted in the correct things and it has the correct things, right? And so taking that into account and really understanding, what that has meant to me over the past 3 years, has really helped me be able to take myself to that next level and to understand. So I think it's important to identify who are those people in your life that are bringing you down. Who are those people in your life that are taking value away from you, taking your energy away from you, sucking the life out of you, because sometimes this can happen, right? You get in a relationship with someone and it's just drowning. You feel exhausted. You feel like you have to do things to please that person, or you have to do things to keep that person in your life, right? And a relationship shouldn't be like that, right? It should be completely, you know, symbiotic in the way that it brings value to both of you, right? You both give each other value. So when pruning you're cutting those bad people out of your life, right? And it's an extremely tough skill to learn and extremely hard to do because you do care about those people, right? And you have your moments with those people where those people are supportive or whatever, but overall in general, most of the time, those bad relationships aren't going to help you get to where you want to go, right? They're going to keep you back. They're going to keep pulling you down and keep bringing you back to square one when those relationships should be doing the opposite, right? They should be exponentially boosting you forward. So, pruning, when pruning, I think it's important to be extremely upfront with the person that you are deciding to prune out of your life, right? Or the people or the groups of people that you're deciding to prune out of your life. I think, you know, I've done it once. I've done it a couple times before where, you just push that person aside and, leave them out and leave them out of the know and kind of just like completely forget about them. And then you have to deal with the repercussions of trying to explain to them about why that happened, right? Or then they start coming at you and degrading you for, not being a true friend or not being, a true partner or not being a true teammate, right? But I think it's extremely important for you to be completely upfront with the people or the groups of people that you're pruning out of your life, because then they can kind of understand that, you're on a higher level, right? You're on a higher purpose. You're pursuing something greater than, you know, just all these surface level things that maybe that they're trying to attain, right? And that can do one of two things. That can, one, set them straight, and then, give them an idea of like actually who you are and what you're trying to pursue, in terms of a relationship with that person. Um, and it can change them, right? It can make them, decide to be, okay, hey, I'm going to either be more supportive, or I'm going to support the things that they're doing, or hey, I'm going to change things about myself because I value this relationship, right? And that would be elevating, right? That would be you coming and being upfront and elevating that person up to your level to help push you forward, right? Or it can, make them realize that, hey, maybe a relationship with this person isn't the thing that I want, right? And that's only better for you, because they're the ones that are, bringing you down and keeping you from pushing forward and achieving the things that you want to achieve because of bad company. And so being upfront with them is something that, you know, can help you do that easier and help it, um, be more like, help it happen in a more mature way, right? You see it all the time with, intimate relationships. People get into intimate relationships and then it's just like ghost, right? And I think that that's part of, the culture that's being built through, these dating apps and, these, um, just these quick interactions, these, exchanges of value that people are starting to do now. And instead of them coming together and pushing themselves forward, they just come together, exchange a few things, and go their separate ways, right? And I think that because of that culture, people have become reluctant to be completely 100% honest with each other and upfront with each other on, what they want in life, where they're going, what they're pursuing, right? And so the understanding that is extremely key to, boosting your success and bringing you the best, chances of success of attaining your goals. So when thinking about this, I think it's also important to talk about how to prevent yourself from getting into these type of situations where you have to prune people out of your life, right? So if you can see through, I like to say it, see through the mud, right? Because relationships are extremely muddy, right? People's feelings get involved, people get emotional, all that kind of thing, right? I think it's important to be able to look through that and catch it before it even gets to the point where you have to prune those people out of your life, right? And so one of the things that I like to do when meeting a new person, or someone new is coming into my life, I like to set the record straight and just say, hey, like, this is who I am, this is how I operate. um, it seems very like distant and almost like business in a way. Like, you don't want to be like you don't want to treat someone else like a business partner, right? If they're going to be a friend, right? Or it's going to be an intimate relationship, right? You don't want to treat that person like they're only there to give you, like, to give you value, which they are there to give you value, but you have to do it in a way where you tell them, yes, like, these are the things that I want, these are the things that I'm trying to attain, but I'm not going to let this relationship affect my ability to get there, in a way, to be upfront and honest, because then how they react to you being upfront and honest is how you tell, right? If they react in a way where it's like, no, I want you to be doing this for me, I want you to be doing this, these types of things, right? And they react in a negative way and aren't supportive of the things that you're doing, right? Then you can automatically cross that person out and be like, hey, like, okay, like, I'm good without this, right? So being upfront and honest, I think, is the best thing that you can do when talking about keeping negative relationships out of your life. It's just to be, honest to that person, tell them what you want, tell them who you are, right? And see if things can vibe that way, right? Um, there's a famous motivator. His name's David Goggins. I'm sure you've heard of him. He always talks about taking souls and um, being like a killer in the space. And I think that it's extreme in a way, the way that he explains it, but he is an extreme person, but it's the truth. I mean, he says taking souls, it's you're defeating the obstacles and barriers in your life by, you're crushing them, right? You're getting over them, you're doing it. And you can almost think about relationships in the same way, not in the sense of like you're taking their soul, right? But in the sense of like they're helping boost you forward. It's kind of hard to draw the line between it, but based off that, I've come to make like a discovery of saying that success is surgical, right? Those negative people in your life aren't going to 100% understand the path and the mission that you're on, right? And that's okay, because then you can keep those people, out of your life, and keep those people away from the things that you really care about. But when success is surgical, it's like you're here or you're not, right? Like, you're here to help me or you're not here to help me. And making that decision becomes extremely easy once you understand that success is surgical, right? People are going to think you're crazy because you're making sacrifices to try to achieve your goals, right? So, like, say someone, you have a group of friends, they want you to go out on, say the night before a big test, right? They want you to go out, have fun with them the night before a big test. But in your mind, hey, I need to stay, I need to get rest, I need to sleep, I need to be ready for this test tomorrow, right? They're going to try to degrade you. And I've had this happen to me before. They're going to try to degrade you to get you to feel bad and to come out with them, instead of staying on your path and being on your purpose, and getting to bed at a good time, waking up, being able to be rested for that test, right? Or there's an instance where someone wants you to help them do something that you're not necessarily comfortable with doing, right? Um, and you decide, hey, this isn't something, you tell them, hey, this isn't something that I feel comfortable doing, and I'm going to make the sacrifice of not doing it, and the sacrifice of putting energy into this interaction for the betterment of myself, for the boosting of me on my purpose, right? And it's extremely hard to do, but once you gain the ability to do that, things become much easier, and you don't put yourself in bad situations. You don't put yourself in those situations where people have the opportunity to degrade you and to keep you from achieving the things that you want to achieve. Um, so I think that's an extremely important skill, and knowing that success is surgical, and being able to cut those people out of your life, I think is an extremely important skill. So enough with like the negative side of relationships, and I kind of want to boost this up and talk about, what are the positive sides of a relationship. What does a relationship look like that brings value and adds value to your life. So first off is you need to know how to identify what a positive relationship looks like, right? You need to understand how you need to understand what one looks like. That way you can identify it and feed that relationship, right? Give energy to that relationship to try to build it up, keep it strong, keep it going, so that both of y'all, you know, whether it's you and an intimate partner, or you and a friend, you and a teammate, you and a coach, right, can push each other for greater success, right? So when identifying a positive relationship, you need to keep in mind and understand that when you're in a relationship with someone, it should be completely 50-50, right? It shouldn't feel like one person is trying extremely hard to keep things going, right? Or one person's, trudging the relationship up the hill to try to get to that success, right? While the other person isn't pulling as much. I think it's important for it to be 50-50. That way, it's the easiest upon both of you. um, I've had relationships where I've been pulling 80-20, and things just don't work out, and they don't end up good. It takes energy away from your life. You feel extremely exhausted. And being able to identify, okay, this is a relationship that is 50-50, and there's times where yes, there are times where one person must pull the weight, because this is life, things happen, right? But for the most part, you should be completely together in pursuit, right? So what do I call this? I call this collaborative goal attainment, right? So I think it's important for the people in the positive relationships. They should know what your goals are. This goes back to the point I made earlier with being upfront and honest, right? If you're upfront and honest with the things that you want to achieve in your life, the people in your life can understand that and help you get there. And it can be a collaborative effort, right? So, an example of this in my own life is my brother, right? My brother Mitchum is extremely, extremely supportive of everything that I do. And I'm extremely supportive of everything that he does, right? And we come together and seeing each other's success, right? When I see him win, it makes me feel like I won too, right? He sees me win, he feels the exact same way, right? There's a complete 50-50 between, me and my brother's relationship that kind of helps us both achieve and attain the goals that we're going for, right? He's more of a digital he's more of a digital type person, right? He's more of that entrepreneurial, wants to work in that digital space, whether it's music, things of that nature, right? And when I when I decided that this was something I wanted to do, this podcast, right? He's extremely supportive, and he helps me, right? He helps me, whether it's editing, or, ideas, or it's making things, right? Like he made my his production company made my banner. They made my logo. They helped me with all these things and helped me form, right? And that's an example of a relationship that boosts each other, right? A relationship that keeps each other and keeps pushing each other up is and that's one that I've come to identify. And even the opposite way, when he has questions, about whether it be fitness, nutrition, mindset. I mean, me and him are kind of on the same wavelength in terms of the things that we're doing in our lives and the things that we're trying to achieve. But using each other and being able to use each other to boost what we're individually doing by collaborating and coming together and sharing ideas and supporting each other and loving each other unconditionally. That's what gets us to be able to achieve collaborative goal attainment, right? And that's just an example of something in my life, right? And you can think, I want you to watch this and think about those people that are doing that in your life, right? Those people that are boosting you forward, those people that are, keeping you on track, and those people that are being, even if you do fall off track, they're the ones that check you and put you back in place, right? And keep you moving forward. And I think that it's important to show to those people, show to those people that you care about them and that you're grateful for them, because that only makes them want to do it that much more, right? That only makes them want to boost you up and push you forward that much more. And it builds that bond, it builds that relationship. And it's extremely important to have that in your personal life, in your professional life, in any aspect that you're trying to do better at, because everyone in their life is only trying to do good, right? Everyone in their life is only trying to get things that they want, the success that they want. And it's important to keeping company around you that helps you do that and doesn't hinder you from that. So it's extremely important to, yes, identify, those people, right? But how do you find someone and put them into that place, right? Goes back to what I was saying, being honest, being upfront. And this is how you build that strong foundation, right? Because things aren't always going to be 100% good in your life. Things aren't always going to work out, whether that be business endeavors, whether that be the relationship itself, whether that be, something that you're trying to achieve within your personal life, right? There's always going to be setbacks, and there's always going to be things that that keep you from getting to where you want to go, right? And it's the people that you keep around you, the circle that you keep around you, that can help you get past those barriers and to keep going, right? This is called the strong foundation, right? You have to build that safety net around you to help, one, push you forward and boost you forward, but also to catch you, right? When things don't go your way, to catch you, to keep you, to keep you in your place and on your path and on your purpose, because everyone falls off at some point, right? Everyone veers away from where they want to go. Everyone makes decisions that aren't necessarily the best for them, right? But keeping those positive people within your safety net and within your circle can help when those situations happen. They can help put you back on track, right? Put you back in the right place. And so building that strong foundation, right? Um, there's a there's a camp that I went to while I was in high school. It's FCA, so Fellowship of Christian Athletes. And when I went my senior year of high school, the one thing that stuck with me the most was the house that is built on a solid foundation, right? They talked about the house that could weather the storm, the house that could withstand the hurricane sized winds, right? And when I was there, that really hit me, and it made me recognize that having a solid foundation is extremely important to your life as a whole, right? Yes, you could have this amazing, you know, pretty house from the outside. It can be, and I'm referencing a house to, like, your personality, your personal life, right? yes, from the outside, things might look amazing. It might look dandy, right? But what do the frames look like, right? What is the foundation that that house is on? What does it look like, right? Because you could have this amazingly beautiful house, right, on the outside, and things are, you know, when people walk by the house, they think, "Oh man, that's such an awesome house! Like this is great," right? But when the storm comes, when things don't go your way, when things are bad or things are harder, does that house stand, right? Or does it crumble under the pressure? Does it does it fall back to the ways that aren't, you know, pushing them forward, right? How what is that foundation like? And how does that foundation help boost you? And I think that that's something that I've come to learn as one of the most important things in any aspect of your life is keeping that tight knit circle that one is extremely important to keeping your energy levels high and keeping you pushing forward, and two, it's just there to support you and to catch you when things don't go your way, and that foundation is extremely important. We talk about it all the time within our football program. Is like, you know, growth, effort, trust. You know, you grow those relationships, you put effort into those relationships, and then after growing and putting effort, you can trust those people, right? You can trust them to make the play, you can trust them to pick you up when you're down, right? And that foundation is extremely important. um, so how does this help in more of a business type sense? Because this is a podcast where we do talk about, you know, business ventures and things like that, because it's something that's important to me, um, and something that I've come to find is the importance of networking and using other people to help you get to the places you want to go. So, what does networking look like? Well, it looks like finding people that are one, either already doing what you want to do, two, are on their way of doing what you want to do, or three, showing you, you know, ways that you can do what you want to do. Having a network of people that you can call back on for, you know, opportunity, or people you can call back on for support is extremely important. And coming to college, it's really put that in front of my face, and it's really brought it up to the forefront of my focus. Is like, hey, I'm here, yes, I'm getting a degree, right? Yes, I'm trying to boost myself, you know, athletically, personally, and in business, and in the way that I think about entrepreneurship. um, but I'm here, and the biggest thing that I can take away from here is not my paper degree, right? Not the bachelor's degree of exercise physiology, right? The biggest thing I can take away from this is the network that I have built while I am here, right? And this can happen, you know, outside of education, right? This can happen in the workforce, right? I've through accepting opportunities, you know, like internships, or accepting opportunities, you know, with just volunteer work, or just having a simple conversation with someone who's within the field that you're looking to get into, right? And building that network is is what's going to bring you the best chances of success to get to where you want to go. And using that network and calling upon that network, and not being afraid to put yourself out there within that network to be able to gain the things that you want to gain. Some of this is redundant, but it's it's redundant because it is the way it is. It's a principle, right? It's set in stone. It's a law that works, right? This goes back to what I said in the first episode. Like, no one has ever gotten anywhere without anyone, right? So building that network to help make those connections and help you have those relationships you can call on in times of need, or call on within, being able to call on those within, the times where you're looking to get into something new, or you're looking to find a job opportunity, or you're looking to find someone that can help you do something, right? um, Doing good for those others will help reciprocate the energy of those people doing good to you, right? And so through those positive relationships, you can exponentially increase your chances of success, right? So just to kind of wrap up, this section and this segment, I think, yes, one, you have to find those people in those negative relationships, and you have to get them out, right? It's gonna suck. It's gonna people are gonna get their feelings hurt, because relationships are emotionally invested, right? But if you ultimately if your ultimate goal is to get to where you want to go, right? And that's the thing that you've been pursuing, that's the thing that you want really bad, that's the thing that, you tell yourself, if I get this, everything will be okay, right? If I get this success, everything will be fine, right? If that's the mindset that you're in, right, then you need to identify the things and the people and the interactions that take away from that, and you need to prune them out of your life, right? You need to take them out, and don't push it, don't like just like completely like push it away, right? But I think that you have to set your boundaries, right? And you have to be surgical, because success is surgical. And then going into those positive relationships, um just to wrap up that side, it's just like, find those people, man. Like, find those people that really push you, and that that bring the best out of you, and the people that make you happy, the people that keep you going, the people that you want to talk to, you want to keep up with, right? Find those people that set a solid foundation for you, and put them in that foundation. Let them know that they're in that foundation. That way that they can be, better at that, right? Let them know that, hey, you're in my circle, right? And I care about this, and I value this, and it will only make that relationship stronger, and to help boost you and build you. So using those positive relationships, and those network tools, and using collaboration for your goal attainment, I think is um, something that's extremely important. Um, so on the Mind Creates Muscle Instagram, I also posted it on my personal Instagram, um, which, by the way, Mind See Muscle. Go follow. It's on Instagram, at Mind See Muscle. That's all platforms. That's Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, and then YouTube is Mind Creates Muscle. Um, I put a section on my story, and I said, hey, I want to answer some questions on the next podcast. I want to maybe answer some thoughts that y'all had, or take into consideration some of the things that y'all are asking. So I put up that form, and I got a ton of good questions. But I chose three that I think were pertinent to this specific podcast. And so I didn't want to make this just like a complete Q&A type thing, but um, I thought it could bring value to some of y'all's lives, because these are questions that y'all want to know and stuff like that. So the first question is, what motivates you, or what brings you motivation, right? um this is something that, if you're close to me, about. um whenever so when I was younger, the thing that motivated me and that pushed me was being the kid who wasn't the most talented, right? Being the kid who, you know, wasn't the big in terms of football and athletics, being the kid who wasn't up to the same stature as everyone, right? I was a freshman in high school. I was 5 foot, barely 100 pounds, right? And I had an unshakable drive, an unshakable pursuit of being great within the sport of football. And I never let those that tried to bring me down because of my size or because of my ability, I never tried to let those people bring me down. And I used those people's, those people's perceptions of me and those people's opinions of me fuel me and motivate me and push me forward, right? And that's kind of how I ended up getting to where I am now because of those people, right? And I'm extremely grateful for um, that chip that they put on my shoulder, to try to push myself and get myself to this point. But now, I think that there's different motivations, right? I think that there's motivations for future family, right? There's motivations to help the current family that I have, right, and get them in better situations and put them in places where things are more comfortable, right? Because when I was growing up, things weren't always easy. I lived mostly with my mom, single parent, and she showed me what sacrifice looked like, right? She showed me what it meant to put others above yourself, and more specifically your family, and seeing that is extremely motivating, and brings me extreme value that I can call back on, and use that and be like, hey, she did this for us, right? She was this type of person for us, so I want to be that type of person for someone else, right? And so that kind of what motivates me now is just the people that I have in my life, right? And wanted to bring good things to them. But at the same token, um, motivation comes and goes, right? Motivation isn't always there, right? You're not always motivated to do something, right? And so when I'm in times of low motivation, I don't I don't think about motivation. I think about discipline, right? And it turns its head and it turns to discipline, right? It's not that happy, feel good, motivation. It's not that rah rah, like this is, you know, that rah rah, like trying to build you up to give you that motivation to do whatever it is you're thinking about doing. Um, it's not motivation, it's discipline, right? Discipline is doing the things that have to be done even though you don't want to do them, right? So in times where I'm have low motivation to do projects, or have low motivation to go work out at 6 o'clock in the morning, right? Because like, who's motivated waking up out of bed at 6 o'clock in the morning? Who wants to go do an hour and a half workout, right? And compete and go hard, right? There's the motivation isn't always there, but it's the discipline that you can call back on and be like, no, like I don't want to do this, but it needs to be done, so I will do it, right? So now it's more. When I was younger, yes, there was motivation until I learned what it's like to discipline myself and use discipline to push myself forward. But more now, it's more discipline based on being able to make the decisions to do the things that I want to do. Um, so yeah, second question. Was there a turning point in your life? And if so, what was it? Um, this is kind of a tough question to answer, but I think it's one that I can answer. Um, I don't think necessarily that there was like a turning point in my life, in a sense of like I was going down this way and something happened, so I had to spin around and go a complete opposite direction. But I think there's there's a time that I can identify that put me put me in the mindset of, or put me in a different mindset, right? Put me on a mindset on a higher wavelength, a higher frequency than I was previous. And that was when um, I had a situation where something and someone that I really care about, um, and it didn't end up going my way. And I'm not going to get really into specifics of what it was, but it it opened my eyes, right? And it made me realize that before I can get the things that I want to get, I have to work on myself, right? And so I started with myself, right? I started getting into the gym, right? I started working out. I started seeing progress, right? I started reading more. I started, diving into books, like this one by Tim S. Grover called Relentless. I started putting myself in better situations. I started paying attention to the things that were happening around me and starting to use those to understand what this life is trying to get me to do, right? And identifying those things that help push me forward. So I don't think that necessarily I had a turning point in my life, but I definitely had a point where things opened up. Things became um, more apparent, and I was able to recognize the things that were happening around me uh, better, right? And so um, I hope that y'all out there can find something like that and can help bring value and increase in your chances of success within your life. Um, and then the final question here is, where are you at in your football journey, and what are your plans for football, and what are your plans for post football? So currently, I'll be playing my senior season here at Gustavus. My football journey has been amazing. I've haven't taken anything for granted there. I love the sport. I think it's something I want to do for as long as I can. I want to play, at the highest level possible. Um, so, answering this question, where are you in your football journey? Um, I don't know. I've gotten to where I've gotten through hard work and dedication and discipline and things like that, and the people around me. Um, and I'm extremely, happy and grateful for the places I am, but I also know that I want to achieve more within the sport. So, um, yeah, looking for a big season next year. I want to, break out. There's things I want to achieve. I want to be a captain of the team, right? I want to pursue being All American and things of that nature. And so, and I also want to, probably most important, I want to bring championship to this team and this school. I want to help us win that conference championship and get into the postseason. So, in terms of my journey right now in football, it's just I'm in it, right? I'm in the thick of it, and I don't plan on stopping anytime soon. And I'm gonna keep my head down and keep going 100% and keep pushing forward. Um, Plans for after football, don't know yet. Being 100% completely honest, um, it's hard to right now. It's hard to have a plan B and to think about post football when I'm in the middle of it, right? Um, I think it's important to give 100%, like 100% of myself to football right now, and to not necessarily think about other things, because then that plants other seeds and takes energy away from that, right? Yes, you do want to be, have put yourself in other things as well, but I think right now, it's just getting my education and playing football, and keep playing football at the highest level. So plans for post football, I think I'm gonna worry about that when when I'm done playing, um, because right now it's full steam ahead, right? It's full steam ahead of achieving the things that I want to within the sport and achieving the things that I feel like I can achieve within this sport. So those are my plans for football. I want to thank y'all for your questions, and thank you again for tuning into this podcast. I think that this was a great episode, and I think this was an episode that can bring value to you in your life, and that you can ponder on and take things from this and take the principles that I've come to learn within my own experiences and use them within your own lives and push each other forward, because that's all I want to see from this, right? I want to see you getting better. I want to see me getting better, and we're all just we're in this together and pushing forward to achieve the things that we want to achieve. So, um, yeah, I think that's it for this episode. Thanks for watching. Leave a like, leave a comment. Um, Let me know what else you want to see, if you want to see anything specific. Go to the Instagrams, all socials, mine at mine C Muscle, on all platforms. Go to follow the Twitter, follow the TikTok, follow the Instagram. Um, Things are coming there. We're gonna be posting more often on there. So yeah, thank you for viewing, watching, subscribing. I appreciate it. It doesn't go unnoticed, and I'm extremely excited for what's coming next. So thank you guys. Stay blessed, and peace. See you.